Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 26th day of February 2019. Well, we survived the first part of the snowpocalypse. We're supposed to get, I guess, between, 5 and 8 inches today, and then it might be done. I don't know. We're not sure. So anyhow, my husband was up on the roof yesterday and he got most of the snow cleared, but he's got this last section to do. And so he's up there now. He's not up there yet, but he just walked out the door. He's going to go up and get the shovel and get back up on the roof and finish, because if we're going to get another 5 to 8 inches, I don't think the roof can take it. So we have to clear the snow off of it. And this just happened suddenly. We had a little snow, but we didn't have anything like this. And then I think it must have dumped at least 1.5 feet or better here, maybe 2, I don't know. It's hard to tell in some places, but in some places, because see, it could have been that it just added to what was there. But I would say there was probably 2 feet of snow in some places on my property yesterday. Yep, he's up there, I hear him. So you just never know around here. We can have freak snowstorms in the spring. I mean, we're high enough up, I'm at 3,000 feet. If you go further, south to Bend, then you're talking 5,000 feet in that range. And so it only gets higher from here. Portland in the valley, that's like at sea level. So they didn't get hardly anything. I have a friend in that area that said they got a little dusting and everything turned white and then it warmed up and it was gone. So they're not having to deal with anything like that on that side of the mountain range. But over here, I don't know. I'll bet schools are still closed today, but I don't know. I know they were yesterday. The issue is mostly the side streets and in the rural areas. How do you, if you don't have a way to dig out, then you're kind of stuck. It was a couple years ago that we bought our snowblower, first time we've ever had one. But, in the years past, you couldn't get one that worked on gravel driveways, and that's what we have. But now they make those 2-stage ones, and you can actually use that on a gravel driveway, which is what we have, 800 feet of one. So my husband 2 years ago, cleared the driveway 3 times by hand before we bought that thing. And, he's 65 now, so that's not good. At some point, we're going to have to hire somebody to come and clean the snow off the roof. Either that or sell our home and move to a better climate. I don't know. We've been here a long time, so it's hard to let go of it. Anyhow, it's the only home we've ever had, so, sentimental value and all. Raised our kids here and everything, so hard to leave it, even with the snow. So let's get started today. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I pull anywhere from 1 to 3 cards and a rune, and we take a look at what those influences are for the day. I'd love you to click subscribe if you haven't. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm still alive. I'm not completely snowed in. Not completely. So, anyhow, let's get started on this snowy Tuesday. Well, we have the 6 of Swords. Let's take a look at that. This can be interpreted as a journey over water, is the obvious one. But here you see the mother and child. They're sort of huddled, against the, looks like there's snow in the background, but it looks like they're huddled against the wind, maybe. Kind of bent forward there. Although it doesn't look like the child has its hood up, which is concerning, but that's the mom in me. But here we're going to a new experience, basically. It's a 6, and so numerologically, we're looking at higher self energies. Swords is about intellect. So you could be, instead of like a journey to say, well, you could say it's a journey toward new experiences, but it's more likely a journey toward new awareness. Emotion is involved. But basically, it could also be interpreted as an emissary or a route. From the Thoth Tarot, you're looking at this card is thought to be directed intelligence. And if you look at it, you see all of the swords, which indicate it's the air element or our intellectual presence in the world. You're looking at everything directed downward, aren't you? Now, you can look at that one of two ways. I think you can look at that where your focus is on, the physical form, or on matter, things of matter. You could also look at it as a focus on ego, maybe, but I don't think so. Not with the 6, because with the 6, that's higher self energies coming into play. So I would say that this is more about letting, more a spiritual perspective be your focus. So you maybe something emotional has happened. You've got the winter here that's depicted because what I can see in the background, what looks like snow on the trees. It looks like a snowy scene, like it's desolate, So maybe things have been difficult emotionally, and now all of a sudden you've come into this other awareness that's more spirit based, and it looks like spirit is informing everything. If this weren't a 6, I probably wouldn't say that, but given that it is. And if you look at it, it's almost like the swords are there protecting them. So spirit's protecting them. Look how it tends to surround the front of the woman and the child. Well, and the man too, but I mean, it looks like it's really, really protecting them. Ego doesn't provide us with much of that, does it? But this is just basically saying, I think, that we're moving into a different type of awareness with maybe some emotional beginnings to it. Let's do another card. See if we can get a little more information, either what has precipitated it maybe, or what we're going to go to, or maybe just defining a little bit more about what's going on here. Drawing the 13th card is just my process. 13, I was born on the 13th. It just has always figured into my life. We're going to do another one here. It's emotion based. It's what's driving it. It's the Page of Cups. For those of you who haven't been here before, if I get a court card, unless it's the 3rd card I draw, I always draw another one. That you just need more. Court cards are interesting. They either indicate the individual on the card or the qualities therein. So that's why I say we really need more when we see a court card. But here you've got the Page of Cups. So this is definitely emotions. Cups is emotions. It's the water element. You see the water in the background. You see the fish sticking out there of his cup, his chalice. He's looking at that. Emotional message of some kind. Pages are about new beginnings. And in this case, we've got new emotional beginnings. So something happened here that I think either we're moving toward a new awareness, or something has something new with respect to emotions. Could be, I mean, sometimes it indicates the birth of a child. Sometimes or the birth of something. It doesn't have to be a child. It could be a project or anything, or new ideas or new emotions, new wealth, a new job. It just depends on which suit it's in. Pages are about either a message or something that's undeveloped, so undeveloped potential. So you could be going towards something that, again, that's undeveloped, yet you're moving into that awareness. So maybe a higher self-awareness you're moving into, either predicated by something emotional or it's within that whole thing, because you see they're going across water, so water's involved, emotions are involved here. It's rare when there aren't other elemental aspects involved in these cards, even though it's the suit of swords. You do see other things happening there. It's never, unless you're talking about the aces, you're not talking about the pure element, are you? You're talking about other influences that affect this whole thing. So, but whereas the aces contain all of it, of each element, of each suit, right? So anyhow, let's do another card. Well, okay, so I can't draw anymore because I just drew the Knight of Wands. So again, passion. This is our will. We drew this one, I think, was it last week? Yeah, it wasn't yesterday. We drew the Knight of Wands last week. So it takes a lot of will, though, doesn't it, to make a change? And clearly that's what's happening here. We see a change that's happening. They're moving towards something else. New thought patterns, new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking, based on spirit informing the process. But let me check the little grimoire on the Knight to make sure there's not something there that no, catalyst, movement, progress, action, protective, take a risk. Here we're taking a risk, aren't we? Today is an 8-day numerologically. 26 reduces to 8, and that's even more than a greater spirit informed number, really. I think we progressed from the 6 to the 8. I think that's a progression in terms of greater awareness of self. So what you have here today is not just something that's going to affect you, that's influencing, but something that allows for the awareness of other people into the mix. And so when you see the 6 of Swords, you're looking at a small family potentially. And so maybe whatever change that's happened to them in terms of their awareness is going to benefit the family. So perhaps it does involve, a new job or something new that can ultimately bring a positive outcome for the family. Here you have Ansus. Now, Ansus is the 4th rune of the Elder Futhark. So again, spiritual foundation, reinforcing all of the 6 swords, pointing downward from spirit. I just like to use directionality when it comes to swords because I think that it matters. I think that when they're pointing upward, it is directional towards spirit, isn't it? But I don't like to think of. I guess I don't like to think of it in terms of an earthly or a physical focus, though, when they're pointing upwards. I still like to have everything oriented to spirit because that's what we are. The body is just an illusion, the earth that we live on, just an agreed upon illusion. And so consequently, that was made real so that we could be made real, so that we could experience life in tangible form on behalf of the Creator. Well, that was a mouthful. But basically, it means that the tarot then and the runes then become our journey of spirit in form. It's not the form, it's the journey of spirit through form. And so I just like to always have a spirit-centered focus when I look at these things. Even the devil card, it's just that we've lost that and we're too focused on the material, right? And the primal aspects of self. which isn't necessarily a bad thing in its place, but you know, it can get out of hand. But with Ansus, you're taught, this is Odin's rune. It's thought to be Odin's rune. And so this is spirit communication, spirit awareness, awareness of higher self, spirit informing the process. You can see Laguz embedded in it. You can see Isa, half of Tiwas. But this basically talks about flow, spiritual flow, or flow of spirit. But it's basically your communication with higher self. So again, it also can mean a message, which this does, so it aligns with this. You're talking foundation here with the 4, structure. Look at all angles, channel higher self. Promotes word power and eloquence, increases spiritual consciousness. So yeah, I mean, you're basically aligning with the 6 here, both numerologically and with the swords. Spirit, basically, and I say this all the time, spirit informing the process, literally, because it's piercing the boat or standing on the boat. I don't know if it's really piercing. We don't want it doing that, do we? Until we're out. But even then, we might need the boat. So a different message today then, I guess. One that our will can help invoke with the Knight of Wands. Maybe something was a catalyst that sent us in this direction. Maybe we just started making some realizations that if we don't allow who we truly are to inform what we do, it lessens everything, doesn't it? When all that is there, all that's present seems to be the ego, all that's active is the ego. It's just not a good place to be. So in a way, when I see the 6 of Swords, I think, well, for the future to be bright and for the future to be positive, we have to remember who we are and live in that present moment, allowing spirit to inform all things, allowing all that is to inform all things. So we have fire and we have water and we have air involved in this. Now, Ansus is also air, I believe. Yeah, it's air. So yeah, I think we have a message from spirit today. Remember me? Remember who we are? And to use that to then proceed into the future, to use that new awareness to guide you forward. So cool. I don't know if you can hear my husband, but he's up on the roof. He's right above my head, in fact. I don't know if that's coming through, that scraping. I'll know when I listen to this. I always listen to these before I post them, so to see if I really screwed up or not. Anyway, well, sometimes I'll say, major arcana when I mean elder Futhark. When you're combining the 2 disciplines, it can get a little, when you get going, you get on a roll and suddenly you're talking about something else when you mean the other. So and when I do that, if I catch it, I'll put it in the notes below the video that, hey, I screwed up and this is what I should have said. So I try to do that. It looks like he's moved off of above my head, so that's good. Anyhow, I was standing in the bathroom yesterday, and we have a fan in the bathroom, and he hadn't cleared yet around that fan, and because there's this much snow on top of the roof, a whole lot, and so I mean he has to do this, or the roof's going to collapse on us, so we can't have that. But I was standing there. And I felt a drip on my head, and it's like there's so much snow up there that it's. And I mean, it wasn't dripping on the floor or anything. It was just one, but I felt it. I'm like, oh my God. So I was glad that he at least was up there and doing something about it. And he got that done yesterday. So not too much left to do till the next deluge hits us. Hopefully it won't. You just never know. When they say 5 to 8 inches, you just never know. It may not do anything at all over my house. So anyhow, that's just the hazards of living in Central Oregon. You never know what the weather's going to do. We joke, we say there are 2 seasons, winter and August. That's really kind of an exaggeration, but really not. But you add a third one in there, which is fire season, because inevitably Central Oregon burns down every summer. So, I mean, and I know that's an exaggeration, but really not, because there are times when you cannot go outside because the wildfires that either surround us in other states or are burning here in Oregon are just so bad that the air quality, I mean, you can't breathe it. It's dangerous. The last few years, it's been that way with all of the wildfires that are happening, not just here, but typically we have ground striking lightning here. And so what are you going to do? It's dry here. It's the high desert. Things are going to burn. So it's just what happens. So anyhow, I don't know why I talked about that, but whatever. It's just high desert is just a really because we have all different kinds of weather and the 3 seasons. Yeah, okay, different. That's why winter and August and fire season. Yes, that's fine. All I'm doing, I'm just kind of keeping in mind where my husband is on the roof in case I don't hear him anymore. I want to make sure he didn't fall off, So anyhow, so I'm feeling a little distracted at the moment. Anyhow, safety first. So anyhow, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much again for stopping by. Check out the blog. I did not do lunar transits yesterday. I may do them today. I'm a day late on them. I'm going to have to do them tomorrow or tonight for tomorrow. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I probably will just skip it. I figure if I don't get it by the day it's going to happen, then it's sort of useless at that point. I got really disoriented yesterday because I was pulled in a whole lot of different directions with the snow, trying to make sure everything is secured and everything so that we're safe in here. And we've got enough of what we need and all of that, and we take care of everything, and that we keep the satellite dish cleaned off. That's important. So, but so far we still have internet and we still have lights, and so nothing like that happened this time yet anyway. But I think we're probably out of the woods on that, but we'll see. You never know. Like I said, it's an interesting place on the high desert. So we'll see you tomorrow with any luck. If you don't see me, well, then you'll know that we lost power or something. But anyhow, be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.